Sup Nerds, welcome to the very, very simple comeback episode of Powerful, the Power Metal podcast. We had some slight technical issues with this episode, so the audio quality is not great in a couple sections, but I hope you can still enjoy it. It's a fun one, it's a long one. We're sorry it's been like 6 months without episodes. They will start coming back. It just takes a while. We're very busy. Thank you to everyone that's been asking where we are. We're here, so hope you enjoy it.
Sup Nerds, and welcome to Powerful, a Power Metal podcast. This is episode 40, Lights at the End of the Tunnel. I am Kyle, who is going to be your host for today. You might be wondering, hiatus? What hiatus? There was no hiatus. We just do episodes when we feel like it. I am joined today by my friend Singular. You might recognize this person. We have the lovely Alice.
Hi there.
From Rage Badger Gaming /music with us today. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great.
The regular members of Powerful are preoccupied, but I want to talk about power metal because there's been a lot of it throughout the first half of 2021, halfway through the year, which is weird to think about. But how do you feel with everything so far?
I'm actually feeling like this is a very strong start to the year. I know there's some years where I'm like, what's even happened? And then it gets saved by the fall or like winter, and there's a lot of good releases at the end. There still seem to be a lot of good releases planned, but the front half's been so packed that I'm very excited. I think this is one of the best years we've had in such a long time.
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty strong year so far. Like a few key highlights that we're going to get into today, and then I've got a grab bag of other releases that just kind of toss into the rotation here and there. And the list of stuff I'm looking forward to is also pretty long. So I think we're in for a solid year after just we'll say clusterfuck that was last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's atrocious. Everything got canceled. It was the worst.
Everything is canceled. Everything sucks. We did have a few power metal albums that we liked that we talked about at the end of last year. I think this is going to be overall a stronger year. So happy to jump into that.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll just kick it right off with a banger. So I think this might be my favorite album of the year so far. It's definitely, top 3 or whatever. Let's discuss Falaschi's Veracruz. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name too bad.
Oh, I'm very good at butchering names too. So I think it's right. I think it's like short. I think it's like Eduardo, but he's not shorting it to Edu. I don't know. But yeah, that's a banger of an album for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even know this album was like coming out until all of a sudden I saw people saying like, "Oh, Edu from Angra has an album." I'm like, "Really?" And all of a sudden it's just fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was not even remotely on my radar at all because it's like, oh yeah, him. I remember him like doing some like live video like 3-4 years ago, or I don't know. I'm probably
he did a Temple of Shadows orchestra live thing.
Yeah, and it was not good. And I know he took a break to like his vocal cords, something. I don't know the reason, whatever. But I'm like, okay, you're coming back. Sure, fine. I'm sure it'll be great. But holy shit, that blew me away. I was not expecting anything close to this level of quality.
Yeah, like the album, it starts kind of weird. It's got this like spoken word narrative intro. Some kid is going to be named George, and it's just like, okay, what the fuck are we doing here?
Oh, yeah.
But then it goes right into the first actual song of the Ancestry, and that's just a banger from start to finish.
Yeah. That was weird because I think it was very deliberate to open with that because there's a little bit more variety in terms of what we see from the album later. Like Land Ahoy has a little bit of you can tell it's got that like sea influence, and like some of like Mirror of Delusion has a little bit more of traditionally folksy instruments. But at the Ancestry, when they start there, they're like, hey, these guys probably like Angra, so let's make a song that sounds like Temple of Shadows so they don't completely bail, because there might be some new stuff, but they're going to be so gripped by this first song that when we move on to other stuff, they'll be like, I don't care, give me some weird shit. That boom, it's weird because it's very safe for him, saying he knows his fan base. He knows they love Temple of Shadows, and boom, they're like, you want more Temple of Shadows? Here it is. It's a great song.
Yeah, we should have a game going. How many times do we say the words Temple of Shadows throughout the discussion of this album? Which, I'm fine with that. Like, Temple of Shadows is my favorite Angra album. We need more things like that, because you listen to the Ancestry and the next couple of songs too. And it's just like, oh, you're right, this is what power metal sounds like. It's fucking cool.
Yeah. And like Sea of Uncertainties, I think also has that similar vibe too. But no, it was weird because like sometimes I've been like this year hasn't been like super strong necessarily power metally, but there's all the genres are putting together a lot of good performances. And when this was, I'm like, oh shit, this is power metal. It's exactly what came to mind. It reminded me of that like mid late 2000s era. I don't know even about like late 90s, mid 2000s power metal, and I'm like, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for.
It's the high we've been chasing for like 15 years.
Yeah, no
like
kidding.
It has like the through line, I would say, of power metal elements throughout. You know, it's generally fast paced. There are a few ballads on it, which are good ballads, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the soaring vocals, lots of shredding. It tosses in, you know, the folksy elements and the choirs and all that other stuff to like spice it up and add variety, but without like drowning out, you know, the real meat of what we're here for.
Yeah, I think they all really complement it very well, and the percussion's amazing. Like this is the best album percussion wise that I've heard this whole year too.
Because a lot of the band members on here are like other ex-Angra folks, aren't they?
I think I forget everyone, but I know it's like what, Achilles? Is that the guy's name?
I forget names. I'm bad at things.
I think Darko and Nuke can't stop talking about him.
Yeah, so let's.
And they linked some videos. It's great. He is a really great percussionist.
Yeah, I'm checking the metal archives for this year album. I don't want the fucking reviews. I just want the lineup. Yeah, so we've got drums is Achilles, I don't know, Portuguese. Achilles,
yeah, Achilles, right. I think.
Yeah, so homeboy here was on drums in Angra for the whole Edgy era, it looks like. And then also on guitars, you've got Diogo Mafra and Roberto Barros, so I think also have ties to Angra.
They all sound very.
If I'm not crazy.
They all sound very Angra.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. But Edu did. If it's funny if you look at the Metal Archives credits for this album, because you've got everyone's got like one thing, and then Edu's vocals, keyboards, guitars, acoustic, lyrics, songwriting, and it's like Jesus Christ. This is mostly a him album with touches from.
Well, it's literally got his name on it, so
it does. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
In that Morpheus typeface.
Yeah. The album itself, I think, is like a concept album. It's telling some story about the New World and sailors or something. I admit I haven't looked into it. I didn't really feel like I had to really get what this album was going for and enjoy it. I know you're not a big lyrics person.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got that impression. Like, and I think what Veracruz is like. Is it some like East Coast South America? I don't know. There's something about it. I'm not sure. I know that I saw that there's like some Templar on the art, and what it means, true cross. So I'm not really 1,000% sure what the whole thing is, but I got the idea of something coming over here, and there's stuff going on, and yep. But yeah, I didn't really need it. I don't really need to enjoy the story to actually enjoy the songs. They seem really, they stand on their own.
Yeah, it's not the kind of concept album that like demands you pay attention to the story.
Oh yeah.
But I think, it's there if you wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about I'd say there's a lot of ballads in this album. Like it's fast a lot of the time, but it also kicks its brakes every now and then. So you've got Skies in Your Eyes. I think Bonfire of the Vanities, if I'm not getting confused, is one.
Yeah. Bonfire of the Vanities is the good one. I actually am not a huge fan of Skies in Your Eyes that much. It's like the only one I basically like. I could just do without it. I skip when I'm actively listening. I'll leave it on and I'll listen to it if I'm just putting it in there for semi background listening that I'm trying to enjoy. But if I'm like actively listening to tracks, I don't think I ever listen to Skies in Your Eyes. Sorry, but Bonfire of the Vanities is very good. But yeah, so two ballads is actually pretty untraditional. I think every power metal band feels we have to do exactly one, no more, no less, which some of them should definitely...
Exactly one halfway through the album.
Exactly. Like track 5, it's like the ballad track. And I'm like, if you guys can't write ballads, just don't do it. It's just you couldn't do it without a ballad. But he's like, I'm going to do 2, but one of them's good, so I'll forgive him.
Yeah, and also the outro with Renha do Luar, excuse my Portuguese, is, I think, a nice little come down after the more brutal track being Face of the Storm.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Which
I thought that was the album flows really well.
Yeah, it keeps your interest throughout with these sort of like peaks and valleys of the general tempo, which is how you're supposed to pace a damn album, I think. Amazing.
Yeah, not quite like Something Wicked This Way Come, where it's like, hey, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. Like, okay, dude, like, you could have grouped these way better, dude, except for at the end. It's like he figured it out. But like this album's like, we give you some aggression, but we're going to lull, but we're going to kind of pull you back in and build up to this really big Mirror of Delusion blasting chorus, but we're going to cool down right after. It's everything is positioned perfectly where it should be within the album.
I know you're a big fan of Mirror of Delusion. That was your like, I'm going to put this on repeat for like a week.
Yeah, I think I've only listened to it like 130 times or something.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, it's amazing. It's hard to sing though. It's goes up to I can't remember. I'm like I know I like stress a lot on it, so it's like an F5 or some bullshit like that, dude. It's high.
I don't know what that means, but I'm proud of you.
Maybe it's E5. Oh no, it's no, I can't. This is not necessarily that's not impressive. It's just it's hard to sing. It's high. It's really good though. But what I really like about that is that song is it was not the song I was expecting when I heard the intro, because you've got all these traditional instruments, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then they build up into more of the like we're gonna just hold some power chords with the electric guitar. I'm like, oh, so this isn't something folksy. And then they get to the verse, and the verse really comes up, and we're gonna say the word again, Temple of Shadows, and it almost feels straight ripped from that, and then build up to this really loud chorus of just, it's not even very intricate. They're just long held notes. There's not a lot.
It's a long chorus.
Yeah. And the weird part is it's not like there's anything intricate about the chord progression or the note, the rhythm. It's the melody is very long notes held for a while. And there's no accidentals. It's very basic. It doesn't need anything beyond simplicity to be powerful as fuck. All the supporting stuff go really well with it, especially when before he says the name of the song, where he's holds out the note, and then there's like the quarter notes leading up into that. I actually forget the lyrics there.
I think it's the rhythm that they use with that chorus.
Exactly.
Like, right before the start of it, it does like the whole everything cuts out and you do a couple syllables, and then boom, it hits you, and then it has like the long drawn out notes. The Mirror of Delusion actually saying the name of the song is kind of quick, but it flows into the rest of it. Yeah, no,
I'm with you there. And then it goes off into the next part. It's almost an afterthought that it's there. It's right at the end of it. It does such a good job. And then when they go to the outro and they do the Mirror of Delusion and back into the traditional instruments, that like, hey, remember how we started? This is how it. Yeah. Anyway, I really love that song. It's my most listened to new song this year, I think.
That one gets a lot of attention. I think one of my low-key favorites is right before it with Fire, just because of it's kind of the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
The chorus is so dramatic with the way it does the title of the song at the start.
Oh, yeah.
Just the big drawn out, I'm not going to try to sing it, but the Fire, it hits right for me.
Oh, I agree with you. And it was weird actually listening to the album the first time through. Fire and Sea of Uncertainties I thought were good, but like Land Ahoy stuck out. Land Ahoy still stuck out, but after a few more listens, Sea of Uncertainties and Fire quickly went from those were good to like, no, these are really great. Like, so those two are like, no, I never skip any. I mean, I don't skip much of the albums, but sometimes I just want to listen to part of the album, and those are like, it's hard for me to like, I'll just listen to the highlights of Veracruz, and it ends up almost being just listening to Veracruz, which I think says a lot about the album.
For sure. Land Ahoy being one of the longer tracks, kind of halfway through. I think it's the longest track. I'm actually not as big on that one. I think it just kind of, the individual parts just don't grab me as strongly as I would hope for on a long song. I think it's still good, but I don't know. I haven't resonated with that. Maybe I need to listen to it more.
Oh no, it might not resonate with everyone, but it just feels very compellingly interesting, and having various parts to it. It's a very good listen. Maybe it's not something I listen to like as passively though. So that's a thing.
Yeah, it might be a more active listening song, which I'm usually listening while like working or some shit, so I don't have 100% attention.
Oh, certainly.
How do you feel about Face of the Storm, the climactic, bigger, more brutal song here?
I like first off, I like the placement of leaving something so aggressive later. It's a good song. I also like that saying the song name and then keeping aggression after you've like there's too many bands that like to say like finish a chorus and then like we need to relax, and they keep on pushing the aggression after they say it's got that momentum, and that's the momentum of the song. Really, I think makes it particularly gripping.
This is a really dumb thing to mention, and I feel like you're like the one person who would maybe pick up on this. The very start of Face of the Storm has this like, I don't know what you'd call it, like tribal like chanting or something to it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I swear that sounds like something from Boys of Battle. Like right before they talk about, it's like the kindergartners before they talk about Swoopy the Magic Penguin.
Oh, I'd have to listen to it again, but I'd had to listen to them side by side, but I think you might be right. Before, what was it? Is it before Swappy or the intro track? Which one of those?
I forget. I haven't listened to Boys of Battle for a second.
No, I think it's the intro track you're thinking of. Yeah. No, you had it right. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to listen to this after.
It's the dumbest, most obscure like connection we could make, but
how many people listen to Boys of Battle?
At least 2.
Oh yeah. At least 2.
Oh boy, how do you feel about having the guest's harsh vocals from? I think it's Max Cavalera is his name.
Oh, I didn't even look. I know that there's. I know there's harshes. I
don't think it's Edu doing the harsh vocals on here. Harsher.
You mean you're probably right. I just didn't. It's one of those where I was like, oh, that's different. Who is that? No, it didn't even cross my mind to look it up. So I don't know.
It blends so well, I guess.
It does, I think. It wasn't enough like, oh, this is a guest singer. It's not like having Roy Khan suddenly start singing like, whoa.
Yeah,
stop
imagine
everything.
Having Roy Khan suddenly show up in a song.
Yeah. So, but it was a nice smooth transition there into a different vocal style. So it's not. I mean, I guess I didn't really think on it.
Fair enough. And what is the cat? I don't know if the cat gets picked up on your recording, but I think the cat likes Face of the Storm.
Oh, the cat definitely does. Oh my God.
I think we've talked about most songs in this album. Any other thoughts you wish to discuss about Mr. Falaschi here?
I'm glad he's had a return to form, because it's something that style of power metal is something I've kind of been really hoping to hear more of. A lot of people have a lot of bands I think have been moving to the more like Serenity has changed to more arena-y, and there's so many more bands that have like tradition to new power metal, maybe with like an NU power metal.
God,
that we need we need throwback power metal, new wave of traditional power metal.
Yeah, this is the style of power metal that there's like ambition behind the songwriting, which I feel like you don't get as much of these days. It's less by the numbers. Like you still have like verse, chorus, whatever, but it's the elements within and between those things that make something like this stand out as a more ambitious project.
The sum of its parts are far more compelling to listen to.
And I think being such a surprise album, like I don't think I listened or even knew this before it came out, and or like it got leaked or pirated, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, this is actually good." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And that guy's still around. Like, oh fuck, he is still around.
That's exactly how I felt too.
So I'm very glad he's still around, and I thought he was having trouble with his vocals, but I think he sounds fine on this album.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, and I caught a bit of that thing, and I just assumed it like he was done. So.
Yeah, no, definitely not done. So let's.
Yeah,
I'm totally here for the resurgence of Angra. Like we get 2 Angras now. It's like your parents divorce and then you get 2 Christmases, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what we got here.
All right, thank you, Daddy Edu. Moving on to speaking of dads.
Oh yeah,
let's talk about dad power metal. Let's talk about Helloween, the dad of power metal.
Helloween. Yeah. So I still love the fact that for their 16th album, they decided that should be our self-titled album, guys.
Yeah, I think their reasoning behind that was just like, this is just like a complete summation of the whole band, being this reunion, the whole Pumpkins United thing that they've been doing the last few years, into this new like ambitious project that they've got.
Yeah, and it's really good though. Like I found myself listening to this way more. I don't even like, I mean, a lot of Helloween is just not for me. So I was not, this is one of those, I was very aware of its release, and I was like, well, those are some good singles, but is the album good? And the answer is yes.
They had a lot of singles. I feel like I had heard half the album before it came out.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's like 12 tracks, technically 11, and then like 2 bonus tracks. But yeah, I'd heard, I actually skipped on some of them, thinking like, whatever, it's just Helloween. But man, I don't know. It's just like I knew I liked Skyfall. It's one of those in the context of the album. Like when I actually revisit it, I'm like, oh, I like this, but I definitely like this. But no, this it really kicks her ass immediately. The Out for the Glory, Best Times. What's track 2?
Fear of the Fallen, which is one of the best.
Yeah, seriously. They're like, hey, guess what? We're going to kick this album off and just Banger City. That's what we're going to start with. Like, no, we're not holding back. And it's
should have made that the name of the album.
Really amazing. Even Banger City. Oh, yeah. I'll start emailing them. Like, here are some album name ideas in case you want to avoid using self-titled for your 17th album if you ever do that.
Helloween 2 will be the name.
Helloween 2. Oh, my God.
They've done awful. A part 2 before, like back in the day. It might be.
Oh yeah, Keepers.
Yeah. So how would we describe this album? So this is the Pumpkins Unite album. They've been talking about this for years, since their first reunion track back in 2017. God, that was a long time ago.
Man.
So
what is time?
There's like a whole 30-year journey to get to this album, with Kai leaving, making Gamma Ray, Helloween kind of having some issues, Kiski leaving, bringing in Andy Terrace, and then Kiski wants to leave metal. Eventually fucking Tobias Sammet comes along, says, hey, join my silly little opera project. Then they do that, pulls him back into power metal. They perform live. Kai's kicking around. They start having fun. Unisonic happens. And then they, whatever drama was between the members of Helloween and Kai and Mike, they just bury the hatchet and they say, let's just crank out the best fucking album we can. And I'd say, Helloween are considered for popularizing, if not, maybe not inventing the European power metal style, so to speak. And they still got it with this one, I'd say.
I agree. And this one definitely has that, the traditional European power metal style. I wouldn't say it feels like the old school power metal, but I feel like they definitely took that and advanced it to, I guess, some modern elements without moving towards what I was describing as other modern power metal bands. You're not going to hear Powerwolf or Sabaton write songs like these. No. However, but you're going to hear these songs and go I could see this being an extension of what we heard from the 80s and 90s from these bands coming out of Germany.
It feels like a modernization of that late 80s style, which I think in this day and age is probably the most appropriate decision for them to make.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I wasn't sure what to expect at that Pumpkins United. I mean, this is fine, and I liked some of the stuff, but it was it's really nice to hear finally more guitar-driven power metal for a while, and still actually having interesting vocal performances. I've always thought Kai is a really good songwriter. I've never been a huge fan of his vocal performances, but there's just something about he writes very interesting songs, and that the whole band coming together making this is I think one of the best parts isn't necessarily the performances, which they are good, but the songs are they don't. It doesn't get in the point of being samey, despite the fact that they're hey, remember this old style, let's modernize it. But even though they stick to that style, every song feels pretty unique, even though I'm not a huge fan of all of them. Angels, I wasn't really super into, but
I'd call that probably the weakest one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. So it's not just
they have 5 songwriters, 3 guitarists, 2.5, we'll say, vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just by its very nature, you're going to have that variety within the songs and the styles and all of that. I was looking at the Wikipedia list of the songs and who wrote them, seeing if there's is there a through line of which person's songs I like the most, and there really isn't. Everyone has good stuff on here. I don't they're all good at what they do.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's I don't really have any I mean, I don't really have any favorites. It's one of those where every track, well, not every, all the tracks on the album seem to be pretty good, and every contributor seems to be able to deliver a good song somewhere on the album instead of just like saying, hey, that X guy. Although like I said, I there's a lot of traditionally Kai, a lot of times I just like, hey, can we have Kai songs but have someone else perform them? I think I'm actually fine with this performance now for once, just having this whole band pulled together. I'm like, nope, I don't want that anymore, just give me more of this, which is something I guess I never, I mean, I like modern Kiske, even though I don't like Unisonic very much. I think he's gotten so much better, and also for this, and which is great because this is such a huge payoff. I think he is my favorite singer on this album. If I am picking favorites as a vocalist, Mike, you did a great job here.
Yeah, like I feel like we've been a little bit deprived of Kiske power metal, which is just generally a very feel good thing the last few years, because he normally was such a big part of Avantasia. He was only on one song in the last album with them. It was a good song, I thought, but you get so much Kiske power metal in this, and I think Kiske having that classic voice, it hits some, maybe not nostalgia or just a feeling of like, oh yeah, this is right, this is how things are supposed to be. That combined with him playing off of Andy Darris, also just that contrast between him, and then you got the little spice that is Kai's vocals whenever he tosses them in there, because he can't super sing these days.
Yeah, not so much. I've heard a bit about. I didn't see their little live tour they did, but
their little live tour.
Little, okay, it
was amazing.
Big live tour. Yes. Hey, I missed it. I was their stuff, but yeah, I've heard that he was struggling a bit with that. So the stuff he did add didn't take away anything, because there's sometimes historically where there were like, Kai appeared on like Tales of the Twilight World for a couple songs, and I'm like, I just don't like his appearances there. I don't know why he's in them. Sorry,
his, like,
Kai.
raspy style.
Yeah, and it's just compared to like Hansi. I'm like, just have Hansi do it. But like in this time where they're like, oh, you're gonna have Kai sing for some of these parts of some of these songs, and I'm like, no, I'm fine with all these. None of the times I was like, no, never once. 100% of the times I was okay with it, and I think that the parts written for Andy and Mike are just, it's a good fit. I mean, I don't know what else to say. They really put together a strong album there.
Yeah, I think one of my favorites of the ways the vocalists play off of each other is in Fear of the Fallen.
Fear of the Fallen, where the three, was it Listen to Your Heart?
Yeah, where they're all like echoing around you in your headphones of like, listen to your heart. I can't sing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know exactly, because that was when I was saying like it's so well written for each person. That's definitely it.
What is your cat doing?
I had a cat swap. I was about to bitch at Spartacus, but this is Velvet. She's sharpening her claws. All right, Velvet, when did you get in here? Oh my God. Okay.
We don't usually have cat interruptions on the show. This is great.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dark will edit this stuff out, but I kind of hope he does.
We'll find out.
That's the surprise, ain't it? I guess Fear of the Fallen says it was written by Andy Darris. Darris also contributed to Best Time, Mass Pollution, and Cyanide.
Oh, maybe
Cyanide is a banger. That one, it's a quick song.
Yeah, maybe I like Darris's songwriting, because I'm like, wait, no, that is really all good. But I mean, I like Skyfall and Out for the Glory too. So, but no, I love all four of those.
Michael Wyckoff. Skyfall is Kai Hansen. Kai only wrote on Mass Pollution and Skyfall, and if you count Orbit. That's Darris's songs. Those four are really good. It's just amazing. I guess all this talent, these guys have been around for 30 plus years or however long at this point. So I hope they know what they're doing. And it's good that they still have this creative energy with them. Like whatever issues they might have had before, they've worked it out.
You'd think that bands that have been around a while would be good, but then you have Gravedigger. So...
Hey, Gravedigger have like one good song.
Yeah, I think I like two of their songs. I think that might be it. Maybe it might be three. I don't know.
In their like 40-year history.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Hey, we're good vibes here. Good vibes.
Sorry. Gravedigger, I saw you when you were opening for Blind Guardian.
And I liked your one song.
Oh, I had to elaborate more. I was just saying I saw them.
I'm saying I like the one song.
Oh,
or no, they have two good songs. They have that Excalibur song is good.
Excalibur Live is actually very good.
Yeah, Anyway, that's not released in 2021. Shocking.
No, not
I'm
remotely.
sure.
I know, right?
This is a weird take, but Best Time. You said you're not a big Unisonic person, but Best Time reminds me a lot of the song Exceptional from the second Unisonic album.
Maybe. I mean, I've heard that. I'm not a big fan of Exceptional, but I think it's more so the pacing of it. But maybe I should revisit it because I really love Best Time a lot. So maybe I should check out Exceptional again, see if I can have that comparison, because it's one of those I'm not super familiar with that song.
Yeah, maybe it's just like the pace of it and then having the Kiski vocals. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Mass Pollution, the dad rock song?
I like it because I guess I like dad rock now. It's it's good. It's got some like, I don't know, arm pumping chorus. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, maybe having just like one of that style of song as opposed to like 5 albums worth of it makes it more palatable.
I definitely, the fact that it's one of those things where sometimes if bands would focus on like having some more of that like aggression and then have some more of these anthemic things that would clearly go well. Like I think Gloryhammer does that well, where they don't necessarily have a whole album full of like here's this like chanty chorus. Oh, so we're gonna do strong on the beat stuff, like between like Legend of the Astral Hammer and Gloryhammer, because
it's always the Hammer songs.
It's always the Hammer songs on it, yeah. Where I'm like, oh yeah, this will be good live and people can get into this. But they've got a lot of the faster songs, and I think this is one of those where they took one of those, and I'm like, this is something you can get into, but they don't make a whole album / career out of it. So
right.
It's more welcome in those cases.
I'd like to get a little bit into Skyfall, just being like the big grand finale of this album about an alien, I guess. With a very expensive music video for some reason.
Yeah, dude. When I saw that music video, I was like, "What is going on here?"
With Andy Darius' sci-fi CGI Iron Man armor.
Oh God, yeah. The whole thing. I think honestly, the first time I watched it, I was too distracted to listen to the song because the video was so distracting. Like, what is going on? Yeah. And then like. I also didn't realize that they swapped back to the like multiple singer thing until the video, and I'm like, oh whoa, I didn't realize Kiski blah blah, and I'm like, oh, so I literally started going through like, oh well, maybe I should be more caught up on Helloween, because I it's like fuck it, whatever. I'm not a huge fan. I like pumpkins, but this video, and by the time I was like, oh, did you like the song? I'm like, I don't know. I was so confused by this crazy ass video. But then when I listened to it without even having the video up, and then I realized I liked it. But there's so much like weird shit going on. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this alien. I don't know why these guys have this shit in space. Why does this guy have a power suit? What's going? I guess I was just confused through the whole. I didn't understand the why of it.
That's
but
fair.
It's clearly, like you said, expensive.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing that the label decided to throw a bunch of money at this for him.
Yeah, for sure.
It does do my like music video pet peeve of shortening a song, which it's 12 minutes. That'd be hard to make a fucking mute video for that, but it just makes it so awkward. So I made a point of not listening to the video version very much because I wanted like the pure, like actual song version of it.
Yeah. It's weird because when I heard it on the album, I thought like I don't remember it being this long. So I oh man, I guess it's one of those where I'm like I like the album version. I didn't realize that the music video was shorter.
It's like 7 minutes versus 12, I think.
Oh shit. I was gonna say it already felt long on the video, but I didn't even realize how much longer it is.
They probably don't repeat as many things, yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
they have like the chorus, they have like the like acoustic bridge part with Kai singing.
Yeah, I actually think that's good that I didn't notice it was a 12-minute song, because sometimes you can tell like, oh, this was a very long song.
Yeah.
Is it still going on? It's hilarious when you have a 5-minute song and you're like, wait, we're only 2 minutes in, and you think like, geez, I thought that was the whole thing, and something's clearly dragging. This one's 12 minutes, and I didn't realize. I thought it was closer to the 8-minute range, because I'm like, maybe it was one of those I saw the music video, but it clearly doesn't drag on. When they introduce new elements, like you said, like the vocal bridge and everything else, doesn't feel like something overstays its welcome. And that's another thing when people who are learning to or trying to write long songs, I think that they I think a lot of people miss the mark there.
Yeah, we kind of did an episode about long songs and like what sort of makes them work. I think this one does a lot of the elements that make it work, which is having these progression throughout the sections that are individually all interesting and not just like feeling like filler. You've got this, I think, really, really strong chorus.
Oh, very.
That you can like tactfully place throughout it to kind of ground the whole thing and just kind of bring you back into, oh yeah, this song's amazing.
Yeah, I think it has at least. I should actually go back and watch that episode because I guess that's probably a Darko episode. I feel bad for not. There's a lot of episodes of Powerful.
There's a lot of Gloomhaven content I haven't consumed.
There's a lot. Oh yeah. I have so much Gloomhaven. There's way too much time on that and not enough on Powerful. But I'd love to. I'll probably go back and see what the quote elements of a long song that make it successful, because I have some things in my head, but I think the way you described it, how every section needs to be interesting in and of itself, and I think that's one of those that I agree there, and I think that Skyfall has that. Have
you watched Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yeah. Duh.
Okay, so someone pointed this out to me that the like chorus of Skyfall sounds a lot like the song at the end of End of Evangelion, and I can't unhear it now. And now
at the end of there's a song at the end of Evangelion.
Com Susser Todd during like all the weird shit, because there's a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. No, it's not coming to mind. Right. I'll have to rewatch
it
that
and like listen to Skyfall. For the weebs in the audience, I'm sorry. And
I actually need to rewatch it anyway because of the Evangelion 3 stuff. But the whatever that is,
the rebuild movies getting
rebuild shit.
Put on Amazon.
I don't know. Something's happening, and I'm like, well, I should rewatch this shit. Yes. But then I'll listen to Skyfall after, and then I'll blame you directly if I can't unhear it.
I didn't come up with this. Someone else in the Discord server mentioned it to me.
Well, I'll blame you regardless for bringing it up.
That's fair, yeah. I love the thing. I think it's toward the end of Skyfall where they have the vocals trading off again, which, okay, I don't get tired of it throughout the whole album. But they also have like this almost like rhythmic acoustic guitar on top of like the regular electric guitar nonsense. And it gives this extra element of just like to this big closer that I really enjoy that they do on it.
I think I'd have to listen to it again to remember what that is. Man, I've listened to the album so much, and I'm trying to remember. Man, now I feel like a poser. No, I'll have to listen to Skyfall again to pick up the acoustic-y thing on top of the electric first.
There's so many like little elements that these are just the random things that have stuck into my mind, which if there are so many of these things, I think it means they wrote a pretty damn good album here.
Yeah, enough that there's so much else to focus on that people can pick out the parts that really, obviously we both homed in on Listen to Your Heart part of Fear of the Fallen, but also our own individual things that about the album. So yeah, no, it's absolutely well done. I think it's one of those the chorus, like Best Times is actually pretty. It's not super long, and I just like the vocal part of it. And even though they repeat it a bit, but it's one of those where I just when they start to actually doing the layering towards the end, where they've got another part on it. That's one of my favorite parts, and I'm like, I hadn't heard any in like the power metal Discord people talking about how once you get to the final chorus and you have the over counter melody above the chorus that just continues, and I'm like, it's so fun. So it'd be interesting if we could get like everyone's favorite part of this album, put it together, and see how much overlap there is. And it's probably the list. Listen to Your Heart will probably pop up though.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the highlight moment from a songwriting perspective. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there's so much in this album that everyone's going to have a different favorite part.
Certainly.
So props to Helloween for somehow pulling off an album like this.
Yeah. Kicked ass.
Who would you like to see? The Pumpkins united, and apparently they still have like creative juices flowing. They're going to keep going from here, because I was watching an interview with Kiski and he sounded like they're going to keep going, which I'm here for it. what other band would you like to see unite like the Pumpkins did?
Oh, I like this idea of creating a Frankenstein of people who have left their bands and making an ultra band. That's what I like.
Not just a super group, an ultra band.
An ultra band, yeah. Because there's people who've like left bands who are kind of either semi-retired, currently ungrouped, or in a non-genre band that was already established. So it's like one of those, or they're not super active. So it's one of those where I'm like, man, if we could get like Zhuka out of power metal retirement, Marco out of what I don't even know what he's doing now beyond Mass Singer, which he won Mass Singer Swami. But
Forgot about that.
Yeah, a lot of people did actually. Charlotte, because she's great, but Delane I've never been a fan of him since April Rain. And of course, Yanni, who I guess is just kind of doing Insomnium now, but
he did a couple Dark Element albums.
Yeah, he's got Dark Element, and I'm sure he can fit and more. He just seems like a busy bee. So like, just cram those 4 people together, make a super group for me, okay?
A very specific super group.
Oh, this is a very, very, very specific.
If you had to pick one
Europe.
band, though, I think there's no way in hell this ever happens, but a Nightwish United would be, I think, extremely interesting.
Oh yeah. First off, you're right. There's no way in hell it would happen. But geez. I mean, we basically had a Rhapsody United.
Sort of.
So
with like
that
the
was
farewell tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's the same lineup that was only that lineup that they had was only for the 2006 tour of Rhapsody. Jesus. And then no other Rhapsody was like that. And then they pulled it back together for that, and that's actually going to be what they're going to be performing in Prague Power next year, that same lineup. The only difference, of course, is there's no Alex, so it's not really a true United because Stropoli is not going to be there. Yeah, but it's close enough. It's got what Dominique, Patrice, the other Fabio. Alex, Fabio, and Luca. Yeah, I was trying to get the hard names first because everyone knows Fabio and Luca. Obviously they're amazing, but yeah, in Nightwish United, man, where could you imagine songs where all 3 of them and it bounced between those 3 singers? Yeah,
well, think about how nice it was with the Helloween singers doing that.
No, four singers because you'd have to include Marco too.
You gotta include Marco.
Okay, I'm on board with this idea. I love it.
And I like the one like reservation I have on it is like too much of songwriting has been shit the last like 5 years, but. Yeah. Maybe he'll get some bursts of inspiration with all the drama put behind them in this, very metaphorical universe we have. Very fictitious.
Yeah. Very fictitious universe. Thomas being able to get over this drama. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so imagine they do Nightwish United, and then they all blow up again afterward, and it's even bigger drama.
I'd be on board for that too. Honestly, Nightwish drama does so much for me. I'm a little petty in that regard.
It's like reality TV.
It's my reality TV. Yeah.
You love reality TV, don't you?
I like Survivor. Sort of. Does that count?
Close enough.
All right.
So I think the Helloween and Edu Falaschi albums are probably my top 2 so far for this year. Which one I put on top kind of varies with my mood, I would say. Maybe giving an edge to Veracruz.
I definitely have Veracruz as my number 1 for power metal. I have a bunch of albums I really love this year, but if you focus on just power metal, Veracruz is my definitive number 1, and Helloween's my number 2. I'm pretty certain on that ranking though. I don't have mood changes. Those are my definitive number 1 and 2 right now.
Fair enough. Now, speaking of other good stuff that's come out this year, I've got a big old list on our handy dandy Google Doc. If we wanted to grab through any of these, I think I'll start quickly with like the first 2 or 3 months of the year. It seemed like it was all Italy coming out with stuff. Like I wrote down 4 albums here. They're all fucking Italian. All came out in the start of the year. With Labyrinth making a comeback with Welcome to the Absurd Circus is also, I'd say, maybe top 5 for this year. Quite like that one.
It's in my top 10. It's one of those where I really liked it when it came out, and revisiting it, I'm like, that's pretty good. But it's one of those when I listen to it again, I give it one listen, and then that's like, I'm good. Thanks for that refresher. So I'm gonna say that. Well, the fact it's one of those albums where I keep wanting to revisit means it's good. The fact it's not a routine visit despite being fresh, we're gonna say that it's top 10 for the year. Probably we'll see if because there's a lot more releases to come out, but I'm feeling pretty strong about it being a well-placed release, and it's enjoyable. I really do like it, especially the title track.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll stick in the top 10, depending on how strong everything else shakes out this year. I think it's a decent return to form for Labyrinth.
Oh, certainly.
Probably
better than
not as good as
Architecture.
the Return to Heaven Denied stuff, but it has that like, I think, classic Italian power metal style of like the good balance between like keyboard and guitar melodies with a fair amount of speed with it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got that style. You can tell it's Italian power metal, and it doesn't sound like some of the janky stuff that they've kind of deviated towards after their more golden era, I guess, to use that term again.
Yeah. Similarly, Secret Fear also had a bit of a comeback with Lifeblood this year.
That was pretty good. They're a little more proggy. I think the big track at the end. Why am I blanking on the name? What's the long song on it?
Ignore my typing. The Lie We Love.
The Lie We Love. Yeah, that one. Is Lifeblood the first track? Because I
after the intro, yeah.
After the intro, yeah. That one stuck out. I remember really liking the single, and of course, they really like Dinosaur Pee. But you remember that?
The what?
Dinosaur Pee?
What's the Dinosaur Pee?
What? Oh my God! You don't remember? How are you not part of that discussion?
Which discussion?
Hold on. Holy shit! All right, lyrics. Hold on. Ignore my typing here.
I am confused.
All right, hold on. I'm not making this up.
All right, hold please.
Hold please. You are drinking.
Is this like the
Dinosaur
lyrics
Pee,
of Secret Sphere?
Yes.
Or what?
Yeah, I'm not.
They talk about Dinosaur Pee? I haven't paid attention to literally any of the lyrics on this album. I feel like you're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. Oh my God.
Is this like a Discord thing?
No. Dominic brought it up. Oh my God. What? He's like, oh my God. All right. I will find it. I'm on a quest right now. I know I will derail this whole thing.
The whole episode is off the rails because of Dinosaur Pee.
All right, hold on. Oh, it would help if I spelled it right.
Apologies to Fernando.
There we go. Jackson Warrior. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it is on The Lie We Love too. Technically, we're still drinking Dinosaur's Pee.
Wait, hold on.
You don't even believe me. I had to go to the Discord for the lyrics because I couldn't find it when Googling it. But yeah, because
holy
you need
shit.
to listen.
Nothing will be the same again, but nothing's ever really left the place. Technically, we're still drinking the Dinosaur's Pee, eating shits of religions. Holy fuck, dude. Oh my God. These are real lyrics in a power metal song. I didn't realize that. Oh my God.
We spent a whole morning making fun of how originally it's like we didn't have the lyrics available, and it was like, hey guys, has anyone else heard this song? I'm like, oh yeah, The Lie We Love. I'm like, it's a good song. It's like, did you hear technically we're still drinking Dinosaur's Pee? Shut the fuck up, Dom. Go back to Helloween. No, seriously, here's a timestamp. I'm like, I listened to it 5 times thinking like, what could it be alternatively?
What's the timestamp on it, just for everyone's reference?
No, I didn't. I already closed it out.
All right, fine.
I didn't have it, but all I was thinking was I listened to it 5 times, and I'm like, I'm at a loss. I don't know what else it could be. And yeah, it turns out.
All right, so Secret Sphere lyrics of the year for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh jeez.
All right. Moving on from Dinosaur Pee. A couple other of the Italian folks I'll shout out real quick. Frozen Crown had their new album with their new lineup with Winterbane. I like this one, I think, a bit more than their previous album. It starts off kind of samey with their usual style, but they get a bit more innovative with like their guitars and stuff in the later half of the album, which I appreciate. I'm not sure if you're a big Frozen Crown guy.
I think by the numbers, if you look at what I like and what they make, I should love Frozen Crown, right?
Yeah.
But I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I'm like, oh, that was interesting. I'm like, I always just bounce to something else, and then I never revisit them, which clearly means I don't like them. But there's just something about them that I've just never found the will to return to. I did listen to this album. I know I did. I don't remember anything about it.
They don't do anything wrong, I would say. They just haven't, I think, evolved beyond their first album in a way that I would want them to.
Maybe that's it.
Like, I really liked their first album. I think it had the most variety and showed a lot of promise, which is kind of why I had it so high up in my rankings for that year. But they haven't followed up as strongly as I would like.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Because I do remember the first album, but maybe it's one of those where it's getting a little samey and I just want something new from them.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. They had like a guest singer for one of their songs, which I definitely add like a new dimension to it. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of nice. But I'll see where they go. They've got this new lineup, although I think the two core members are the same. So we'll see. I think they're all pretty damn young, so they probably got a lot of stuff in front of them, and they crank out albums damn fast. Maybe they pump the brakes a bit. We'll see.
We'll find out next time.
Yeah. I also, closing out the Italian arc of this episode, Winterage released The Inheritance of Beauty. I think it's their second album. Winterage do a lot of violin-y stuff. Is kind of their gimmick, is all the violin that they mix in, which I like to, if you're in a violin type of mood, it's nice to throw them on for a bit.
Well, I love violins, so I should listen to Winterage. I'm very bad in I've not caught up on a lot of other things. I've been listening to a lot of Melodeath, so I need to catch up on Italy this year.
We'll get to the Melodeath stuff in a bit here. I know we've been listening to
Winterage. I'll add that to my to-do list.
Did you ever hear their first album?
I don't remember.
Okay. I feel like the vocals on the second one get a little questionable at times, so you might have a time with that.
You know me so well.
Unfortunately, am I right? Hey. Getting into the stuff where I really know you well, let's talk about Japan. We're going to go across the seas. Let's talk about Lovebites.
All right. I honestly, glory to the world. This is sometimes when I listen to an album and I'll be like here are 10 tracks that someone's delivered. They're like, here's our new release. And I'll be like, dude, this album's pretty good. There's one track I always skip. These 6 tracks are pretty good, but these 3 tracks are amazing. I love this album. And I'll fixate on an album just because I like 3 of the tracks. And I'm like, I put all 3 of these on repeat. And then sometimes I listen to the album. Lovebites were like, hey, we're going to give you that album, but without the I love every track. When I first listened to it, I'm like, oh, the single Glory to the World's amazing. I did like the Winds of Transylvania, but I'm like, what's the other stuff? And I'm like, is it on the same tier? But I think No Time to Hesitate actually beats out both of them. I think that's the best one on that EP. I love it.
There's like a real like aggression to the guitars.
Yeah.
Where it just like
also
explodes.
they use they use a Phantom of the Opera progression from the musical, or like da 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 during the bridge of it. They actually do that.
The whole EP has this like musical dramatic quality to it. I think having more piano kind of contributes to that a bit.
Oh yeah.
Because Miyako, I think, she does guitar and piano, so maybe they're looking to use some of that more, especially with like Winds of Transylvania, because it's doing this anime vampire intro thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's some anime thing.
Yeah, they did it's an OP for an anime, so they've done that step of being a Japanese band. They did it. They
finally did it. Yeah, and they did the metal. They're in the power metal church too, so they checked off both of them.
The Glory to the World music videos in the Japanese
church.
metal church, literally. Oh man, I'm so glad that they did that. Like when the video came out, we're like, is that the Angel of Salvation Church? I think it is. Let's look at the fucking stained glass windows.
Yeah. Oh man, the level of analysis whenever we see a Japanese band playing in a church is like, is it the one?
It's always the
one.
one.
Oh my goodness, it's always the one. Let's be real here. There's no other power metal churches in Japan. It's just that one.
I can't wait until I go to Japan and go to that church and just be like the one person who's like, this is the place that's in all the damn music videos. No one's gonna give a shit.
No, yeah, I know. I want to do that too. I mean, I don't want to go to, I'll eventually probably want to go to Japan. I'm just too busy focusing on other stuff.
Like,
but if I went there, I'd have to go see that. It's mandatory.
Yeah, like, oh, some people are like, oh, you got to go see the giant Gundam. You got to go to the fucking pachinko parlors. You got to go to Mount Fuji or whatever. Like, no, go to the fucking power metal church and get their like $300 dinner or whatever that they charge. Oh man, I love it. But to ignoring churches, the whole album or EP, if you want to do it, Lovebites do a good job with their EPs. Like Battle Against Damnation was just like banger after banger. This one, same deal, I would say. Oh yeah, the weird part is when I was like listening to them, I only listened to like these 3 albums, and then someone linked some live performance, and I'm like, what's this? The Crusade? I haven't heard this song. And it's like, it's on the EP. And I looked, I'm like, wait, why are they releasing an EP that's not like later just another album? Like, why is this a thing? But I'm like, holy shit, this is great. So them doing that again and saying, hey, here's another EP. It's a little smaller, but it's still amazing. And that's what I want. Just, if you don't have the ability to give me 8 to 10 amazing tracks, just give me 4 or 5 and I will love it. Yeah, like, it's amazing how fast Lovebites put out music. Jesus. They started in what, 2017 or something? They have like 2017. They have like 3 albums and 2 EPs. Yeah, it's absurd. Plus they have like a live DVD or maybe 2 of them. They have at least 1 live one. Oh no, and then they actually released the demo beforehand. So they've really packed that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with them. Hopefully they don't just like explode next year or something. Yeah. I'd like to see them live. I don't think I can. You know, they went to the UK with Dragon Force, so maybe there's hope. So there's a chance. Like I saw, I think it was Midori. Is that the blonde one? Yeah. Or is that Miyak? No, yeah, Midori. It's Midori. She like came to some like American festival or something, I think. So I think she speaks the most English, so that's probably why. We'll have to. I follow her on social media because she's great. We'll have to. She has some stuff in English, so yeah, that'll. All right, Midori, I'll like tweet at her. Get Lovebites to America somehow. Yeah, maybe Prague Power will pull it off. I mean, they got Galnerius. Oh, jeez, yeah, that's true, dude. Oh my god, they did. That was amazing. Yeah, even Galnerius. Speaking of Japanese bands pumping out albums, here Galnerius had a Union Gives Strength very recently. Yeah, I don't know if it counts as an EP or not, but because it's like a few songs and then some like re-recorded songs, but it's basically a full album length. So yeah, yeah, no, it still counts. That one's actually pretty. The annoying part is, I need to revisit it more. I just started revisiting it. It was released like 3 days before Helloween. So I was like, yeah, I think I kind of got overshadowed there. Yeah, and that's my problem with it, because I listened to it and I'm like, this is actually pretty solid. It reminded me of just, this is Galnerius. It's got a lot of the stuff I really liked about it were like, you know, this during the songwriting, they had strong bridges and guitar solos, and then I'm like, oh, I need to do a thing where I really need to track by track analyze this. And then Helloween came out and I'm like, whoa, Out for the Glory's good. I need to listen to at least this song. And then it turns out, hold on, this whole album's great. And I've been so like more into that, and then like lately I've been on an Ethereum kick that I haven't gotten back to Galnerius to really check that out. But I do remember when I told like Spotify, hey, what are my most obsessed songs? And they're like, all right, here in the past X days, here's the songs you spammed. And then it finally got to Union Gives Strength, and I'm like, oh shit, I love this song. Why haven't I listened to this whole album again? So I actually forget which song it was, because I'm somehow terrible song names on the Galnerius one. But they're all in caps. So you can't just, you know, they're all in caps. Yeah, how would I? Yeah, See the Light of Freedom. That's what it is. Thank you. I love their just overly dramatic song titles.
Yeah. So See the Light of Freedom is really good. I actually listen to that more than almost every Etherrealm song. So that should tell you that it's like, yeah. I mean, except there's three Etherrealm songs that are ahead of it. But the whole point is I've been obsessed with them, but despite that, I spammed the crap out of this. I knew there was one in there and I'm like, I don't know the song name because I don't know any of the lyrics, but I'm like, this one was really good. And I'm like, oh, this is CU showing off again, which is,
that's the point honestly, of the band.
Yeah, I know. That's really like new Galnerius album. Hold on. I want to see him showing off again. Let's do it. That's
yeah.
It's one of those.
The music video came out for Whatever It Takes, Raise Our Hands.
Oh yeah,
and it's this nearly 9-minute long song, a couple minutes of which is like guitar solos and breakdowns, and it's just like, yep, there he goes again.
Too. That one was good too. I remember I was trying to remember. I'm like, there's something about like Show Your Hands. I'm like, was it the title thing or was it some other? I was trying to remember, but that one I remember liking that as well. So I need to give the whole album a listen because I looked at a couple of the tracks and I'm like, oh.
When you go back through it, I'd say pay attention to the keyboards. I think they do some cool stuff with that in this album. With like, there's one that almost sounds like a fucking like 80s keyboard with the way they use it.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
I think Hold On is the one with like the weird keyboards. Bleeding Sanity, I think, is like the more epic track on there too. So all good stuff to pay attention to on top of just the usual soaring vocals and crazy guitar solos, which the staples of Galnerius.
Just this, it's why we tune in.
Yeah, I think Galnerius is one of those bands that's what you're gonna get pretty much regardless of album. But I generally don't get tired of it. I think they still have enough variety between like the crazy shredding to just kind of be like, hell yeah. They've been doing it for so long. It's been like 15, 20 years or something.
Yeah, they've been a while. Also, they're another one of those bands that just like machine just keep putting out releases.
Is it a Japanese thing? Because like between them and Lovebites, I mean, they're the ones who I think in the Japanese scene I pay the most attention to.
Yeah,
is it
I don't know. Those are the really.
Is it a label thing that's just like you have to keep cranking shit out to make the money and?
I'm not ultimately very sure, but I know those are the two I follow, and they definitely both just constantly. I just remember like Galnerius new release. And I'm like, didn't they just do that like in 2019?
Yeah, I think in terms of like, if we looked at the history of the show and the bands we talked about in terms of like number of albums in like the few years we've been doing Powerful, Galnerius might show up the most. I think this is the third album of theirs that we've had on here. Like full album.
Yeah, I remember when you first had me on as a guest, and I was like talking about
Ultimate Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then they had the Purgatory, Into the Purgatory a couple years ago too.
Into the Purgatory, yeah. That was the one where they showed off the one song live. Glory, yeah, that's a good song. Yeah.
So keep cranking it out over there in Japan. Come back to the US sometime, please. All right, a couple other albums I want to highlight. I think these are on the smaller side of things. I think a Spanish band, Phoenix Rising, had Acta Est Fabula. I probably butchered that pronunciation. But if you want some really banging fast power metal in Spanish, highly recommend Phoenix Rising. Did you check them out?
Oh, absolutely. They're on my list. They're on the high up.
Ooh, they're on a list.
I'm terrible with their track names. I think there's like something about Muerte. There's the title track, like something like Dublin's, and there's like, and I think there's like track. I just think it's just track 9. So I don't know what I love.
Well,
I think if I looked at the list,
are in Spanish, so
yeah, I don't know which songs I like, but I love it. It's I obsessed over several songs on it. I know that first off, the title track, I think it's track 4, track 7, and 9. I'll just have to pull it up.
Yeah,
but no,
4
Phoenix Rising
is El Último Aliento. 7 being El Temor de un Hombre Sabio.
Yes, that's good.
My Spanish isn't perfect. I forget what Temor means. The something of a something man.
All right.
Sorry,
so
Spanish folks.
Let's double check. Oh no, it's track 5 that I was also thinking of.
El Doblón de la Muerte.
Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah, 7's good. No, it's 8, not 9. Era C, I don't remember that. The 7, 8, 5, 4, and 1, 2. Yeah, Portal to Telegram. I guess it wasn't, but no, I like track 3 too. So it's like so I like basically almost everything.
You said almost every number on this here album.
Yeah, so like 6, 9, and 10 are the ones I'm not giant fans of, and I guess I skip 1 every time. So let it be known that I like so many things on this album. I actually like it's actually funny at the end of track 5 they have like it's like a piratey saily theme. I guess I maybe like people doing pirate power metal, except Ailstorm, but they're not power metal, they're meme metal. But it has that little sailing vibe to it, and then right at the end they have like a cannon firing sound, but it's the most pitiful sounding cannon in the history of cannons. I don't even know what it's supposed to be.
Speaking of pirate things, I didn't put this on the list actually, but Jonathan Young, the YouTube cover guy, put out. He did his debut album, which had like Galactic Kraken, I think is how you say it.
Galactic Kraken, yeah.
It's like sort of power metal and like sort of like techno-y metal. I'm not sure what to call it.
I actually remember. See, this is the thing. There's sometimes where I like listen to albums and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And like, well, like I have to like struggle to remember some things about the album. But like Jonathan Young, I only gave it so little attention because I got distracted by other releases. But I remember a lot about it. I remembered like Man the Cannons was actually decent, like arena metal. It wasn't like super great.
I like the arena metal songs that he's got on there, which I would say I think it's Man the Cannons and Storm the Castle.
Storm the Castle, yeah.
Which are, to me, just like kind of like that style done really, really well.
Yeah, he does it really well. It's well produced, it's well performed, and they're like some of the times he's like, hey, we're just going to give you a nice 3 minutes and change. Arena metal is sometimes 4, and we're just going to give you a nice arena song. It's going to be fun, energetic, and then we're going to just duck out. We're not going to try to pad it and try to overdress something that doesn't need to be. And some of the silly techno-y stuff like the Jetpack Race, and I also liked Army of Tigers. So I'm like, the fact that I'm like, man, it can come up 4 songs off the bat. I'm like, I think he clearly did something right there.
All right. One of the other small releases I enjoyed this year was Project Roenwolfe, released Edge of Saturn. This is kind of like a powery, thrashy style of album, very riffy. I got turned on to this because of Alicia Cordisco, formerly of Judicator. This is her new band. And I really like that guitar playing.
Oh, I feel truly awful now because I love the single, and which I'm forgetting the name.
Elderblood, I think it was a Witcher thing.
I remember it was a Witcher thing, but going like I was like, okay, I need to listen to this album, and I keep on getting distracted by other stuff that I've still put it off, and I still haven't listened to the full thing. I feel so bad because Alicia's been so amazing this year. Yeah, I'm
gonna make sure I'm not fucking up that song. Oh, Something More. Okay, that's an even better Witcher song title. My bad.
But yeah, no, I need to listen to that because I like what I heard initially, and I'm like, oh, this is good. I listened to it several times. It wasn't just like that was an interesting single, let's move on. Like there was like that Orton Ogan single I listened to like earlier this year, like Inferno or something about fire rains down. One of those, I don't know. Maybe those are 2 different tracks.
Yeah, I got confused with once. That too, with Orton Ogan.
Yeah, I listened to both of those tracks exactly once and then moved on. So, and I remembered listening to that whole album, but then I listened to her release for Roenwolfe, and then I never listened to the full album. So now I feel like I've really screwed up my priorities. I need to revisit that. I definitely need to.
Yeah, I revisited Orton Ogan's Final Days. Not the album, not their actual Final Days, I think. Just last night, actually. And I feel like I always have mixed thoughts about Orton Ogan. Like, they can have some really strong really strong songwriting. They do the big harmonized choruses really well. But then sometimes they're just boring as shit, I think. And every album feels that way. You're
absolutely right. I'm not necessarily going to agree on every album feels that way. I think every album, they get a little samey, and I guess I'm a little annoyed that the fact that they really don't feel like stepping out of their comfort zone. But I can't help but feel Final Days, like they're like, some people are like, oh, they're trying to step out of their comfort zone. They're doing all,
they put the dial-up
like,
sound
techno-y rope. They put the dial-up sound. No, it's the same shit with just a couple different variations. In the Heart of the AI, some of the stuff was very, familiar that I'd already heard before is still pretty catchy.
You know,
overall.
you're getting shit mixed up, which because it's Heart of the Android and the Dawn of the AI. So things blend together.
Yeah, exactly. I probably would have caught myself soon, but yeah, Dawn of the AI, Heart of the Android. I actually really did like though.
Really, I was a fan of that one.
Oh well, I like it. So, screw off, dude.
Oh,
but
fuck.
No, there's a few tracks in it I like, but I guess I kind of almost became Ordnogan like exhausted because it's just like I've heard too much of this. Like there's too much familiarity or other stuff, and then I just whenever I listen to them, I just go back to like Gunman, Eastern Hope a lot, and like Ravenhead shit like that, and I don't really revisit Final Days. I think that says a lot about their newest album when I listen to it and I go, I just rather listen to your other shit.
Yeah, it's like I think there's a lot of the stuff that's done well here. I think they did better elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
One of my favorite songs on this one was Interstellar. It's got Gus G as a guest guitarist, I believe. Gus G has some good guitar stuff, so I think that kind of makes that song stand out more to me.
No, that one I remember thinking that was better, but it's sandwiched between garbage.
Okay,
I think.
I need to revisit it. Yeah, it is sandwiched between garbage. The garbage that comes after it. This is the thing that pisses me off. So they bring in Ilva. I'm not sure how to say her name. Erickson from Brothers of Metal. And she's a really cool vocalist. So it's like, oh, cool. They're bringing in the girl from Brothers of Metal. That'll be fun. No, it's a shitty fucking ballad where she hardly gets to like do anything. And it's like, really? What was the fucking point?
Yeah, they didn't let her do her thing too. Cause I mean, she's a fine singer, but when she's just doing punchy arena metal, man, just give me more of that. It's great. Her voice fits so well, but like, I didn't, she was hardly in the ballad, and then I felt like, what was the point? And you shouldn't be able to recognize, oh, this is a guest vocalist. Why'd you even do that? That's not the questions you want people to be asking.
You want people think like, oh, this is such a cool crossover. The styles coming together.
Yeah.
Makes this interesting blend of flavors, if you will. So not like, this is just kind of like a hodgepodge of why.
Yeah. It's not a good hodgepodge.
Indeed. So, but it worked with Gus G, maybe just doing guitar solo-y stuff or something.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully Ylva Eriksson gets to do more interesting crossovers in the future.
Yeah. Brothers of Metal still going to Power Metal next year, right?
I believe so. They're replacing someone, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But that sounds fun. It'll be nice to see her live.
Yeah, because I mean they basically do like arena party Viking metal. So.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll make for a fun live show with their like 19 members that they have.
Yeah.
One of the other, I don't know if I called them a big name, but it seems like people really get into them releases. Dragony. They did a concept album called Viribus Unitis. Did I say that right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know if you checked this one out at all.
I didn't.
It's this concept album about like an alternate history Austria or some shit like that. I liked a few songs on it. I think my favorite part of Dragony is their vocalist and the choruses that he does sometimes on probably the faster songs. I just don't really get what they're going for. They haven't really got any kind of unique identity, I think.
Yeah, the weird part is I listened to like a few of their songs at random moments. Like I remembered like visiting Shadowplay, and then that album with the wolf stuff, and then I can't remember. They did some. I can't remember what if it bleeds we can kill it. They've every time I like visit some part of them, they feel like they've changed their identity. It seems like they're like, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else, rather than like doubling down on one style. It feels like I've had a measure of inconsistency, and I don't know what to expect from them, and not in a good way, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, they're going to change it up. What are we going to get from like Devin Townsend next? That's a good way of like, what are you doing now? And this is like I don't care. I became so disinterested. It's never really been truly awful crap. I'm not like completely bashing them.
High praise.
Yeah, sorry. No, like I liked stuff from Shadowplay, and I thought this was interesting. But so then the next album, I felt like I didn't get any of that, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what I like. I just never settled down with them to the point where I've kind of just lost a bit of interest. So, but I think it's one of those where maybe if they did double down, get an identity, and say, "Hey, this is who Dragony is." I wonder if they could give them a sense of direction on like where to go with the band. At least that's for me. I think that would help me out get into them more.
Yeah, their songwriting, especially the guitars, have just never resonated with me. It feels like every song is just waiting for the chorus, which isn't what you want, which it's a lot of power metal, sure, but it's not what you want it to be to stay interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You need to at least have something.
Yeah. I wanted to expand a little bit beyond power metal. I think we've been going for like an hour-ish here. So let's talk about this one. I think we both talked about Ephemerald quite a bit.
Yep, absolutely.
This is some banging fucking melodeath, like symphonic melodeath, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, symphonic melodeath. It's really good. I remember when I was like told to listen to it, I'm like, pick a song. I'm like, just start listening to the album. You'll listen to the whole thing. So I started with Grand Creation, and that's amazing. Between that, was it Servant? I think it was track 3. I mean, let's just, the whole album's amazing, but really, Grand Creation really stands out. I think they've got a problem where some of the tracks kind of start very similar, and then they kind of make their own form and they get more interesting. But Grand Creation feels like its own entity. It's very distinct when it starts. You know it's that. And I love how they like backed off at some parts away from the harshes into the cleans. It's like long held clean notes with the little keyboards. And they allow you, despite backing off, it doesn't feel like, oh, I've lost all the energy. It feels so full and like a climax, despite the loss of the speed. That song, I think, really stands out as like one of the best melodeath songs I've heard in a while.
Yeah, it's almost like atmospheric, the way they, like, if we had to throw another word onto their very long subgenre name at this point. They do, it's very captivating. I was listening to this last night, like, I put on headphones and like had like the lights low and just listened to this album, and it just it envelops you, so to speak, with the way the aggression of the deathy metal side, the orchestrations that just kind of punch you like exactly when they need to. It really is something special.
Yeah, and they don't use all the instruments all the time, so it's not just like constant string. So when every time they do use something, it feels very deliberate, and I think because of that, it's very good. But it's also one of those where I have some trouble distinguishing some of the later tracks because it gets a little, like you said, atmospheric. But I don't think it takes away from the album listening experience. I think perhaps as a set of singles, I might not have as been enthused about this. But it's one of those where I'm like, oh, the album's over. I've been listening this whole time. Let's play it again. And sometimes that's just what you need. And that happened to me so many times. I've listened to Ephemerald. That's another album. This album itself is another one that I've racked up easily over 10 hours of listening. I want to say over 20, but I'll check it later. But I've dedicated quite a bit of active listening time just to how much I love this song. And it's one of those where I'm like, I sometimes have to spend like an hour driving just for stuff. And I'm like, you know what? An hour of Ephemerald sounds really good right now.
For sure.
That was me during a little earlier this year. So
and to my knowledge, this is their debut album.
Yeah. This is such a great debut because there's so many debuts where I'm like, this is a good setup. I mean, like I was just talking about Ether and like this debut is such a good thing, and then boom, they stepped up the tarot. But Ephemerald, they're like, you know, let's skip
we're
the
gonna
step.
Skip the tarot.
We're gonna skip and give you a punchy thing. I without overhyping it, I still think tarot is much better. But let's back up down this for a debut. This is great. This is like, I mean, it's competitive with all the other like albums I've been listening to as a debut. So they definitely deserve a lot of attention, like just because, I mean, what else can they do? Hopefully this isn't just a one and done thing, but I'd like to see what more we have in store from Ephemerald.
Yeah, I believe they're from Finland, which, you know, that tracks with this style of music, I would say. You mentioned Etherrealm, who's not from Finland.
Yeah. We are not from Finland.
My standout track from Ephemerald, I don't think we ever said the name of the album, Between the Glimpses of Hope. You know, that's a melodeath name if I ever saw one.
Oh, very much.
But my favorite track on this is track 4, Lost. This one has such such a catchy melody that it does really soft with like piano, whatever in the intro, and it builds up to this just like explosion with the guitar coming in. It gets me every time. Like this is the one I would just put on repeat.
Yeah, and I also like the use of how they build up and then they just say the song name, but just like it's so isolated. Lost
with
and
the harsh.
They take it.
Lost.
Yes, they take it and let it go, and then you have the other parts just kick in to fill it. And I'm like, oh, that's creative. It felt very well designed. That one, Lost sticks out too.
Yeah, it makes me wonder who the fuck are these people? How did they do this?
Yeah, seriously.
Because I don't think they have much of a history in other stuff, unless I'm fucking crazy.
No.
2 metal archives.
I remembered looking up. Well, hold on. I'm getting these are Ghost of Atlantis confused. I looked up one of them. They're similar. I remember actually they were introduced to me about the same time. I liked them. Ghost of Atlantis is 3624, but I ended up leaning more towards Ephemerald because I'm like this is good. They're a bit different styles though, but this one's. I think this is the one where they just were completely unrelated to other acts and like, what the heck? Where'd they come from? Why are they here? But give me more, please.
Yeah, exactly. These aliens who just like, why are they here? Making such good mellow death.
I'll accept those alien overlords.
Yeah, I think it was Jamal who introduced us to this. So shout outs to our friend Jamal.
All right. Yeah, he's amazing.
If you want another not very power metal recommendation, I'll just briefly mention Elderwind. They do Atmo Black. They had an album called Spires this year. That's very nice.
Thumbs up.
All right. We'll make this a transition-y period between things that have come out and things that will come out. I think the best one to hit for that is our friends at Seven Spires, which is also the shirt I'm wearing today.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big old Seven Spires fan, as am I, and they've been releasing some singles to promote their upcoming album called Gods of Debauchery. I like that name quite a bit. That's coming out on September 10th. How do you feel about these 3 singles they have so far?
It was very weird. First off, 2 of them didn't actually grab me on the first listen. Like, so Cursed Muse and Gods of Debauchery, I actually remembered like listening and I'm like, oh, that was decent. But it's one of those where I'm like, let me revisit the single later. And both of them, where I'm like, they grew on me so much to where I hadn't realized how much attention I'd given to them, especially Cursed Muse, which I actually really like a lot. Gods of Debauchery is good too. But This God is Dead, that one's amazing. First listen was all I needed to know. This song is amazing. It might actually be my favorite song this year. I'm not sure. Like Mirror Delusion's up there, but This God is Dead. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, if you multiply like length of song times listened, it might be up there for me too. Because like obviously there's a bit of cheating on this one because they brought in the man, your dude, your guy, Roy Khan. When this song came out and I saw people in the Discord talking about Roy Khan, and I was playing D&D at the time, so I wasn't listening at the time, and I thought they were just like joking or memeing about Roy Khan, and then I put the song on and it's like, wait, no, Roy Khan is actually in this. What the fuck? Roy Khan on a symphonic metal track that's totally inspired by Camelot is just like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, So when that came out at midnight, I was like, I have work tomorrow, so I'm going to go to sleep. But Seven Spires, I'll have that for me in the morning. And then, like, I think someone, I don't know, Metal Pigeon or someone in Discord's like, oh, it's got Roy Khan, by the way. I'm like, have to listen to it now, God. And I ended up listening to it for like almost an hour and delaying sleep because I'm like, well, I need to listen to this on repeat now.
So yeah, why were your reports so shitty this day? Like, oh, sorry, boss, I was up till 1 a.m. listening to Roy Khan. It's like, oh, carry on.
That's based.
You say no, that's Angra.
Yeah, that's no. Oh yeah, carry on. But yeah, Roy I wanted more of him in this. I realize I can't just say, you know how we can fix this song? What? More Roy Khan. He's not even on the song.
It's like when you have Hansi guests on a song. It's like, you know what would have made the song better? More of that Hansi. It's like, sure. Exactly. It's like, let's just pour more chocolate sauce on this.
Exactly. Like it'll fix it.
Yeah, it fixes every problem.
The song, it features him just enough that I really like it. I actually, despite the fact that it's 10 minutes, I actually thought this could have gone way longer. It doesn't feel like 10 minutes. So that's the one time where I listened to this for a half an hour, and then I started typing in Discord without realizing I just burned a half an hour. Like I'm like, what the? How is it? I listened to it 3 times. I can see the time. I know a half an hour went by, but it didn't feel like it. So that's another one of those. Hey, did you write a long song? Yes. Did you make it feel like it dragged on? No. It feels like too brief. Bump it up to 14 or 15. I think they could have done it.
Yeah, I think they could have gotten away with it. Maybe if the song had an actual chorus, that could have bumped it up.
Oh, anyway, that song's really amazing. I'm super looking forward to Gods of Debauchery by Seven Spires.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a long ass album. It's something like 16 tracks or some shit like that.
Oh shit!
The 3 singles are like pretty damn long already. These Seven Spires, I guess they're not like exactly a power metal band. I think symphonic metal is the best descriptor for them.
Oh yeah,
because they kind of they float between genres, like a leaf on the wind. But all the singles so far have been mostly on the heavier side, with really showing Adrian's harsh vocals, especially Gods of Debauchery and a fair amount of Cursed Muse as well. So I'll be interested to see if they do more of the melodic Disney princess shit as well. I assume they will on this long of an album at some point.
Oh, I'd love to hear them do more Disney princess shit. So we'll see. Like there's like 2 really amazing songs off Emerald Seas that were totally Disney princess that weren't singles. So the fact that they have 2 in a row on the album with that sound, I think doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to put them as the singles to begin with, especially when they did Drowner of Worlds, which totally doesn't sound like the rest of the album a single from Emerald Sea. So I don't think the singles are representative of what we're going to see from them, but I'm really, really excited to hear what they're going to deliver.
Yeah, I wonder if they feel like the heavier tracks like market better. Maybe to being like an American band, they think that'll go better than the more power metal stuff.
It's possible, yeah.
I'm not really sure. It was interesting watching their live streams where they talk about some of their songs and the inspirations behind it. Like the intro to This God Is Dead is like pulls from like a Skyrim song, and the Cursed Muse like takes some hits from the Imperial March, and it's just when you know that, you're like, oh yeah, it kind of does make sense. So it's interesting.
When you pointed that out, I can hear it now.
Right, because it's this like evil sounding like don don.
Yeah,
like marching beat to it.
Yeah, I almost felt like it was like the Dark World theme from Link to the Past. I'm sure you may have heard of Zelda Link to the Past.
I'm not sure. Can you explain what this Zelda thing is to
me?
I
don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware. Zelda is a series of games.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that Cursed Muse reminded me of that, and I actually heard some part of the verse of This God Is Dead. A little bit of Nightwish's story time, but I actually think that they did it better. And This God Is Dead, that version, it's not as punchy, but I think it flows better into the rest of the song. But that's just stuff I picked up.
I like in Gods of Debauchery, I think it's more of the bridges. They get much more creative with the way they use like the keyboards. Even the bass gets like a mini solo in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The bass guitar getting attention. What's this? This is not power metal, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. Their style of songwriting, they seem really big on the concept and the leitmotifs and how it ties into like characters and stuff. So I think that I haven't put the effort into like studying their music in depth, but I think that's one where it could really pay off, especially with as their career progresses and they get more into these ambitious projects.
No, I agree. I think it's one of those where, especially on Emerald Seas, where you can hear like things calling back to other songs, and there's like a bunch of cohesiveness between the tracks. I think that's one of those things where we're going to see that probably a lot in this album if history were to dictate anything. So I'm excited to see that, and I like that they have that kind of a thing too.
Yeah, and like this is gonna like all of Seven Spires I think are pretty young, and this is already their 3rd album. They're getting really damn ambitious with it, so I'm very interested to see how their little career develops here.
Yeah, I am too.
They're supposed to do a tour, maybe 2 of them last year with like Amaranth or some shit. So hopefully post vid they're able to work something out.
Yeah, there was this 2 tours that were happening from 2 different bands because they were supposed to happen earlier, but they were like supposed to collide at Cleveland, and I was like so excited for that. But I was like, this isn't going to happen because the first tour already got canceled, and then I didn't even buy tickets. I knew it wasn't going to happen because the first.
Remember when tours got rescheduled for September of 2020, and we're like, oh yeah, man, it's totally going to be doable then.
Yeah, that's what it was, September 2020, but it was like a March 2020 date that was delayed. I'm like, oh, by September we'll be fine. And then like a month later, no. But yeah, it was it had 7 Spires and Insomnium, so I was super into that. But then they had the Amaranth, 7 Spires, Insomnium, some other dude. It was like 7 bands. It was like supposed to be some big all like metal thing in Cleveland where the 2 tours were able to like meet up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is good. Not happen, is it? And yeah, not buying tickets, I think I'm like, yeah, because it's just going to get refunded. This is going to be a waste of time. I didn't realize how long this whole thing was going to take, because I thought like, okay, September probably not, but maybe by winter, maybe as late as January. Jokes on me. Damn, there's so much that got canceled. Damn.
Shows are coming back though. We've got vaccinations.
Yeah. I have tickets to 2 shows. So.
Yeah, right. The next one I've got coming up is Mad with Power. That'll be my return to form. So that's in August. That's a month and a half away. That doesn't feel real. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be at a concert. I'm gonna like feel the double bass. I'm gonna feel the urge to sing and scream with people. It's like,
yeah, seriously. It's like 8 or 9 weeks away, but I've got the Detroit show with at the Realm. So that's I think 8 or 9 weeks, is it? September 9th?
Yeah,
so
the American folks, there's a tour of like a lot of American bands with Unleash the Archers, Etherrealm, and Seven Kingdoms, which all great bands around September-ish time frame. And then October, you've got Judas Priest and Sabaton, which is going to be expensive. Yikes.
Yeah, I think I saw the tickets were going to be $75. I'm getting it. I'm getting it anyway. I guess I don't have that ticket yet. They're not on sale for the Fox Theater, but I'm very much looking forward to both of those shows. That I've never seen Judas Priest before, and every time I see Sabaton, I get super into it and I love it. So I can't imagine that's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good show. Probably if you're into like those big like actual in a real venue shows, whereas
it's in an arena too. There's the Fox Theater. It's a big thing.
Yeah, I think
like so that's
the
cool.
LA one is at the Microsoft Theater, so it's
oh geez, yeah,
so it's a big thing.
I'm like super excited because like this, every time I've seen Sabaton, they've been kind of in a like not the low tier, but like all the middle tier stuff. Because I never get to see any bands at any big theaters except for like Muse. I've seen Muse in a big ass thing. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. The presentation is awesome. So to actually go to a metal show at a big thing, this is going to be a first for me outside of like festivals. So that's the only exception I've had. But yeah, I'm
so used to metal shows being like a few hundred people max, or
Oh yeah. The Unleash the Archer 7 Kingdoms at the Realm thing is at it's at a small venue, and all I'm thinking is, oh cool, small venue in downtown Detroit, leaving at like 12:30 at night. That's gotta be, yeah, I'll be fine. No, I've got I think I'm bringing 2 friends. I'm not gonna get stabbed.
That's good to hear.
But no, I'm super excited. I don't care. It's a show. It is a show. A show is happening.
Yeah, that's the real win here. Like Mad with Power this year, it doesn't really have like any huge bands. I would say it's still a pretty small festival. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna be listening to metal bands live.
And that's what matters.
Madison, Wisconsin, of all bumfuck places.
Yeah, of all fucking places. Oh yeah.
Allegedly, one of the first big festivals is going to be Bloodstock, which is supposed to quote unquote happen in August. I don't know if that's still going to happen in the UK, as they say, but hoping for the best for them. Next year, though, is when it sounds like festivals are really going to explode. Because at least in the US, we've got Hell's Heroes and Prague Power.
Oh yeah,
which are going to hit a variety of styles. Hellfest in France is just like every metal band ever conceived, apparently.
I think I remembered seeing that. I it looked like a big list and not an actual like like, here's going to be performing. I'm like, no way. What the fuck? Like, it just looked like a giant list of like someone's 48 favorite metal bands or some shit.
Exactly. It's like you went to like the Wikipedia article for metal bands, and it's just like, yep.
Yeah, just like, this is it. Yeah, it looks crazy, man. But I'm clearly not going to that. But
Yeah, I think
that's
it might be
huge.
surprised soon. It's sold out, and France is not the easiest place for me to get to.
No, not quite. No.
And on the Canadian side of things, I don't know if hyperspace is going to actually happen or not. Hoping it does, because that sounds like a fine time. But I guess we'll find out later. Oh boy, shows! It's amazing. I can't believe it.
I know. Oh my goodness.
My last show was Dragon Force right before the pandemic. You know, not a bad way to end it, but what the fuck?
Amorphous and a NECA for me. So
also pretty good. Jesus Christ. So speaking of things that we're looking forward to, we've discussed a lot of the good stuff that have come out this year so far. We're seeing that light at the end of the tunnel that, like I mentioned earlier. I think top of my list, probably top of your list too, for things that are allegedly coming out this year, it's going to be the boys, the Kings of Power Metal Blind Guardian.
Yep. I can't wait. I love what I heard from Violent Shadows. Had an insane reaction where they're like, hey, we're going to play something new. Like, what? No, don't fucking say it. Don't taunt me. They did it. And like, oh my goodness, I can't wait. I just want more Blind Guardian. It's been too long. I don't count the stupid tales of I don't even know, it was Twilight Orchestra.
Legacy of the Darklands.
I don't even know, Legacy of the Darklands, whatever. I think Twilight Orchestra is like some Rhapsody shit. Yeah.
It's there, and it's like the side project name was like Blind Guardians Twilight Orchestra.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, anyway, Blind Guardians, whatever. I don't count it. I still count Red Mirror's their most recent release, and I need more.
Yeah, and
I need it now.
I assume you've read like the articles about like their studio reports.
Oh,
yeah. So they seem to be doing less of the orchestral stuff. Seems like that's a little bit out of their system. So we're gonna get some speed metal stuff. I assume there's some proggy stuff in there.
Yeah, nothing that they described sounded remotely like it does. It doesn't even sound like the direction they were even heading, because like you heard that with the Night at the Opera, and then like as soon as they went to At the Edge of Time and After Twist, but At the Edge of Time and Red Mirror, you're like, all right, so Blind Guardian's more of a symphonic power metal band now, and everything they described on the new album and what we've heard from Violent Shadows sounds more like, hey, we've been writing a certain direction, but we kind of want to revisit what we like, this other style. And there's still some stuff that they described. It's really hard to like read words and try to figure out what the album's going to be like. But I almost imagine like them backpedaling a bit and saying, you like Blind Guardian here, but it's going to be a little bit more like this. And what we heard from Violent Shadows sounds more like a mixture between what we may have heard on something like Tales from the Twilight World with At the Edge of Time, which is the only way I can describe it. Like this sound with this songwriting.
Yeah, which I am super hyped for. Hansi was talking about like the lyrical themes on some of those articles. Like,
oh yeah,
there's gonna like Violent Shadows has some like Stormlight in it. There's like a Witcher song. I think they said there's a King Killer song. I thought they mentioned an Elder Scrolls song on there. So they're kind of getting back into that older style of like just drawing from a variety of fantasy things. They're not doing a weird concept, which I don't think they've always been the best at. Like Red Mirror doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The Legacy of the Twilight thing doesn't really make a lot of sense. So just being cute with it and just getting some cool fantasy stuff, I think will feel right. Yeah, for sure. And maybe I'll get some of their coffee then. Oh yeah, they did coffee. I forgot about that. Yeah, I thought it was a joke at first because it reminded me of that the Death Clock where they're like promoting coffee so that it's got Hansi dorkily holding this bag of espresso beans. I love Hansi being a dork. I know, dude. Hansi being a dork is one of my favorite things in the whole world, so I'm not knocking it. So I, like, as a joke to my friends, I'm like, I'm just gonna create a dumb Kickstarter or GoFundMe, help me pay for the international shipping for that. And now they're telling me I have to do it, so I'm probably, as a joke, gonna make like a dumb video about like fucking Blind Guardian coffee or some shit. Because it sounds... I mean, the shipping from Germany will probably be more than anything else. No, the international shipping to get it to Ohio is like $30. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So it's like, just start a $50 GoFundMe. That'll cover the whole thing. I'm like, shut up. And like, no, seriously, do it. And then Stephanie's like, you should do it. Like, why do I have all of my friends are the worst influences I've discovered? Because they try to get me to do some real dumb shit. That means they're the best friends. I guess that's a good point. Yeah, like with the Blind Guardian seems to also be doing more attention on their older style, because they did a tour all about Imagination from the Other Side. They did the Imagination Song Contest.
contest,
which is like
yeah,
putting a lot of attention on their like mid-90s style of songwriting. Like, hey,
if they go back to mid-90s sounding, that was one of my favorite eras of, do it, Blind Guardian.
Yeah, I don't want to set myself up for too much disappointment. Like, I think I'm enough of a fanboy that I'll be fine regardless. But I guess we'll see.
No, I don't know. I'm trying not to, because I got a little too excited for Legacy of the Darklands until I heard the single, and I'm like, oh no. I knew it.
I like some stuff on Legacy of the Darklands.
I didn't hate it, but I'm like, I just don't ever want to revisit it, because it's just, I don't know. I think I set it up way too much that I really let myself get let down. I still loved Red Mirror, so even if they do something like Red Mirror, I'm going to be fine. I don't care. I'm just going to love it. Hansi, just please. I just need Hansi.
Yeah, he makes you feel things. Yes. He really does.
Oh, absolutely.
Going on to the opposite side of like world renown and experience and everything. I think the other album I'm looking forward to the most is Fellowship, their actual debut album.
Yeah. When they released the single Glory Days, all I'm thinking is, yes. I almost wondered if, like, there's sometimes where I worry when I hear a band early on, is this going to be like a one-hit wonder bullshit kind of thing? And first off, the fact that they released 3 songs was good, because the other 2 songs are good songs, but Glint is a whole nother level. But then we're like, all right, here you go, Glory Days. And I'm like, yes, this is another song on that level. Oh, the fact that they can do it again. I have faith. I want this. I no longer, I was excited for it regardless, but I'm now way less worried that Glint was just some one-off thing. Can they do it again? Yes. I think they have the potential to make thoroughly an amazing release, and they're way, it's going to come out of nowhere to some people, but this is it. I have a really good feeling about this.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how like the world at large, like in the power metal scene and however big or small it is, reacts to something like this, because I think they draw a lot of influence from your fantasy metal things like Twilight Force or whatnot. So I think there is potential for like the modern power metal audience to latch on to this.
Oh yeah.
And maybe they get maybe Herman Lee will like bring them on stream or something to that'll bump up their numbers. So hey, let's go for it.
I mean, I literally saw the official account for Dragon Force and Twilight Force commenting in their video section. So yeah, if they can, I wonder if they can like piggyback off of those other bands. Seriously, if like Lind and Herman, I was going to say, like, I know the Twilight Force guy, you literally just said a Herman Lee and like Lind from Twilight Force. I don't know the guy's real name, but those two, if they help give them some free promotion, I think they can maybe elevate this band to some level of popularity that they aren't receiving right now.
Yeah, and like I think Dragon Force tends to kind of help with uplifting bands like that. I mean, they brought fucking Lovebites from Japan on their UK tour. They did Unleash the Archers with the West American tour. So they seem to have a good eye for like young, lots of potential bands. Fellowship might still be too small at this point, but maybe I'll give it a year or 2. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's taken them much longer than they originally estimated to make said album, but shit happens. They apparently they just finished the recordings, so hopefully turn around by the end of the year.
Hopefully, knock on whatever luck, whatever you need. It needs to happen. I need this.
Yeah. Speaking of smaller folks in the UK, Ascension allegedly will finally have their new album out this year. They've been doing recordings and videos and shit. The boy Fraser Edwards and Fake Jack Black.
Yeah, Fake Jack Black, who I do like him as a vocalist though. So I'm definitely gonna have to give that a listen when they release that. It's actually interesting because he's one of those people that when he started singing, I'm like, oh, that's his voice.
It doesn't look at all like what you'd expect.
Yeah, I was not expect. No, it's so weird. So yeah, but no, it's good though. I'm just saying the juxtaposition of the voice and the sound and the face is not what I was expecting. But he's a good vocalist. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, he hits crazy high notes. It's like you see like a guy with.
Above what I was trying to say, above what I was saying earlier, like an E5, he can absolutely hit above that, strike above that easily.
Yeah, and I think Fraser Edwards does a pretty good job with like really catchy, uplifting songs. He's got great guitar skills.
Yeah, I like people that do write like these positive and catchy that don't also get boring, because sometimes you can just go, here's positive and fun, and like you're like, okay, Freedom Call, like let's try something new. But no, they get it without actually getting it super boring. So keep that up.
Indeed. A couple of the other smaller bands I'm looking forward to this year, Ravenous. We actually talked about their debut, Eat the Fallen.
Yeah.
Or Eat the Fallen being part of the band name. I get them confused. Anyway, Ravenous.
It's Eternal Hunger, Eat the Fallen. Yeah.
Eternal Hunger, Eat the Fallen. Jesus Christ. They have a second album allegedly coming out this fall. Very much looking forward to that. They had like this really fast, but also melodic style power metal with, I wouldn't say like Sabaton vocals, but we've described them as if Sabaton was actually power metal, they'd sound like Ravenous, which I think is high praise.
I really like his cleans a lot. Like if you show off on like go to Adrift and Space and Time, those two really show off what Rav can sound like really good clean. They actually have some social media up with was it Ravioli Music, where you can hear him singing cleans. He's actually gotten a little bit more refinement to his clean voice, which supposedly we're going to hear more of. So he does
like this really gruff voice, for at least by power metal standards.
Yeah. So the thing is, that's not he's still. I'm sure he's still doing that, but his clean, that's a little bit less gruff. I mean, it's not like here's clean voice versus harsh voice. He's not doing harshes. He just has a meter of grit that gets added, so it's going to be a little bit more clean, because we've seen that on his channel, and it's good. He's really, really good. So I'm so looking forward to hearing more of them. And I really love their debut. There's so much about it, because like even if you go to the more semi-arena-ing, Mercenary's clearly power metal, but it's got a little bit of those a little bit. It's not even the chorus. The everything else was. The verses kind of get a little. Strength of a Warrior is more punchy, but the both of those two songs get a little bit like that, and they still have some very interesting like songs that just have a lot of forward momentum. Like so was it Tale of Good Omens? That the whole
momentum is I think a good word for it.
Exactly. The point is, man, if they can strike like this again, I mean, count me in. I love it. And I mean, imagine if they could do better than that too, because I already thought their debut was already strong enough. I'm so into it.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that. We're also going to hear more of Rav amongst many other people on Planeswalker once that eventually comes out.
Oh yeah, Planeswalker. I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah, so that's Jason from Helion Prime and Dire Peril teaming up again with Sozos, who was on Helion Prime's second album. Sozos, I love fucking Sozos vocals. Jesus Christ, he's a great follow on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to. I was actually considering for like an idea of gathering my favorite like quote vocalists best vocalists you've never heard of, because I feel like Sozos deserves recognition because he is really good, but like no one knows who he is except for like you have these small inner circles of people on like these online communities, and you go outside of there, it's like, huh? And I'm like, oh my god, he's so good. There's way more than just him, obviously. Like, you know, it's, calling back to Fellowship, Matthew Corey, holy shit, he's amazing. Glint's stupid dumb.
Glint is stupid
just so you
dumb.
know, it's the dumbest song written vocally, because so few humans on the planet can actually sing it. Because, like, first off, like, most guys can't sing it at octave because you can hit the lows fine, but you can't even pitch it without, like, you can't. You can like, oh, I can sing it if I just keep bouncing between octaves. No, don't do it that way. Keep it all in. If you want to take it, shift the whole song down an octave. Most people can't do that because then it gets way too low. But then most people can't sing it at octave because some of the high notes are way too high, almost to the sixth register. And it's like, well, how do you do that? Well, you could be a woman. But then a lot of the female singers can't sing those low verses. They have to bring it up an octave. It's just physically hard to sing. I would not be surprised if I said less than 3% of humans can actually on the planet can sing the range it has. Now, of course, most of the people on the planet Earth aren't singers, so that's partially where I'm starting this number. But of the people that can sing, it's stupid dumb. I'm sure you could auto-tune some shit, but like, oh my god, it's so hard. Like, some of the other songs are a little easier to sing, but Glint has this right range where it's like, dude, what the hell? You have to also listen to some of the vocal harmonies on it too, because there's so much going on in that song. That, yeah, Matthew Corey, Sozos, those are two of like my favorite guys, and you're like, yeah, these guys are amazing, and then people are like, huh? like more people need to know about these too. So yeah.
Like Sozos has only been in a couple of like really small projects. Like he's with Helium Prime. He's got his band is it Harmonious? I think is the name of it.
Yeah, I think
he's going to be in Eons Enthroned, which we love those guys. Not the biggest project out there.
No, it's small.
Yeah, Eons Enthroned is coming up allegedly in July. Allegedly. So we'll be excited for that.
Absolutely.
Like mentioning Planeswalker again, they've got a few folks on there. Sozos being the main vocalist. I think Brittany Slays, I think, is showing up for a collab. Rav from Ravenous is going to be showing up there. I've got high hopes for Planeswalker.
Yeah, I have too. I backed it because I'm like, I want more of this. It sounds fun.
Yeah, exactly. I think a couple other albums coming up later this year. Powerwolf is doing Powerwolf things.
Yeah, Powerwolf and Sabaton. How is this?
Sabaton? They've been doing singles, but not. Have they announced an actual album?
Oh, I thought Sabaton and Powerwolf were both releasing albums this year.
I think Powerwolf is doing an album. I'm not sure if Sabaton have said it's an album. They might just be doing singles, which for maybe. Sabaton makes more sense. But
yeah,
they're just gonna keep trucking on making money, so fuck it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Powerwolf. I'm very looking honestly out of the singles. I'm much out of the arena metal scene from the singles I've heard recently. If there was to be a new album by any of them, Powerwolf stuff is, I think, more promising than any of the other things. So I'm very much looking forward to that album.
Yeah, and I know you're a fan of Attila Dorn. Is that how you say his name?
Oh yeah, Attila Dorn. I think. Yeah. He's a really good vocalist. It's so weird because you have like some of the stuff that I'm like, these songs don't match your, like, in terms of. Some of the songs are like, they have really interesting vocal melodies, but the rest of everything around it is so basic, bitch, that like you've got a good vocal melody, you've got a good voice. Why is the rest of it not up to the par of this? Because you've got like Night Side of Siberia, which is the lead into the chorus on that is so amazing that all I'm thinking is like, but like, I think if you fancied it up too much, it'd be like, the fans really just want punchy wolf nun blood dead arena metal
boobs.
Boobs. Yeah. That's what they want. They know that, so they know they don't have to dress it up. So I know what they're doing. Yeah. It's working great. Sometimes I wish, like, could you just put one song on there for me? Thank you. All right, I'm gonna write him a letter right now.
Put every album. You've got 8 songs where you just do your thing. Maybe put like one song where you put some more effort into it, and you're just like, what if we tried this? The fans will hate it, and you don't ever have to play it live, but maybe just from like a musical standpoint, let's just say, what if we tried this?
Yeah, I'd love to see, because they've picked all the right instruments I love, because they're like, hey, what if we made metal, but I love pipe organs and harpsichords. I'm like, yes. Also, we've got a great singer. Yes. But what if we did like pop rock with a little bit more percussion? I'm like, what? No, you started so strong. What? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still enjoyable, but man, some of those just really come off as like the energy could have been so much more there. It reminds me of when Epica covered, was it Sacred and Wild? And as part of the when they completely like rewrote some of the parts, they also they bumped it up like 30 beats a minute or some bullshit like that. Cause I remembered like, oh, I don't remember the song being that energetic. This just in, it's not.
What they need to do is have him collaborate with like one of the big prog metal things, like do an Aerion song or an Avantasia song, just to see what kind of stuff he can pull off with a completely different style of songwriting.
Have you heard their cover of Judas Priest's Nightcrawler?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get stabbed for this.
Okay.
I think Dorn's voice, first off, I think Judas Priest does Nightcrawler better, but I think Dorn beats out Halford.
You can't say things like that.
No, I just did. I said it. I love it. He does such a good job, the delivery, everything. But I think the rest of the songwriting that they did to like Powerwolf the song, it was really just like, it was like they made an AI generate the rest of the parts and then like, go ahead, do it. There's not really much life to it as like the original. So it feels very lazy, and they could have done so much more with it, but the vocal performance is there.
Yeah, well, I listened to like one or two of the singles from the upcoming Powerwolf, and I'm like, I don't hate this. It feels good in the moment, so fuck it. Keep it on. I was not a fan of the Sabaton single, the Swedish Guard or whatever it was. I think that was boring even by their standards.
No. That's one of my least favorite songs I've heard from them in a while, actually.
Yeah.
I like Defense of Moscow, but the Royal Guard, I was like, I mean, I think I've only listened to it 3 times. I think I listened to it. I think if another band released it,
3 is nothing by your standards.
Yeah, hold on. I think if another band released it and it didn't have the Sabaton label, like, okay, I know who these guys are, I may not have even listened to it, given it any other attention. I know the first time I listened to it, I turned it off partway because I'm like, whatever. Then I'm like, is it really that bad? And I gave it a full listen. And then they released it in another language, and I gave it another listen. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm just done with it. Like, I've given this bad song too much attention already.
The multiple languages thing is smart on their side because they basically get like the press junket of 2 releases in one. That's a smart idea for them.
Yeah, and I actually like some of their stuff in Swedish more. Like Careless Rex in Swedish just sounds better.
Yeah, I wonder if us not knowing Swedish makes us kind of ignore like the simplicity of their English lyrics. We can kind of pretend like there's more to it than there really is.
You're probably right. They did. I'm assuming they did it in every tour, but they did Got Mitt Uns in Swedish when they did one of the tours. Yeah. So I'm assuming they just did it everywhere. That's just my guess.
They have a bit where they say, "Oh, do you want us to do it in English or Swedish?"
Yeah.
I assume the Swedish always wins because
that's my guess as well. I assumed like, okay, very nice script you got there, which is fine though. I don't mind
live
it.
shows are scripted, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who it was. There was some discussion about that where that came up, and they're like, that's like a thing they do every show that's scripted or something like that. And
like bringing the kid on stage.
Yeah, don't tell me that wrestling's also like it doesn't matter. We know it, but it's. We don't care. Just give us the performance. If that's part of the package, just give it to me. That's fine. Now, it's bad when you've like Thomas Englund saying, "Hey, they don't pay me enough to be up here," but I like you guys. Like, okay, don't say that. That's bad. But stuff like, do you want to hear it in Swedish? What the fuck? Like, okay, no, I'm fine with them going like, he's actually a good actor. His enthusiasm's great. I'll take it. So
charisma,
but. Yeah, don't give me Livgard at Royal Guard or whatever. Don't give me that again, though. That was bad.
Yeah, I'm fine for Sabaton to keep making money if it supports Tommy Johansson to do his other projects because I like his stuff.
Oh yeah, not Memories of Old. He was in that, but that's not his Majestica and that the Christmas album, which was just surprisingly good. Give me more of that. That was great.
Yeah, I think we might have skipped over at the end of last year on our episode, but I really liked the Christmas Majestica album.
Yeah, I even revisited after the season was over, like, oh yeah, he did a Christmas album, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's still good. I know it's like I can't remember. It was like, hey, it's April, but the Christmas album's still good, guys.
I'm such an asshole that so last Christmas I had my family over for dinner one night, and I'm like, okay, we're having dinner at my place. I'm gonna put the fucking music on. So I put the Majestica Christmas album on just in the background.
Oh. One time I was visiting my in-laws, and I was like, hey, I'm going to put some music on in the background because they're like letting me be quiet. And I started off with my metal playlist, and it starts off with Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, okay. You can always trick people with Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
And then it has Orion's Reigns Christmas covers and Theocracy's Christmas songs in there. And no one brought up like, hey, are you tricking us into listening to power metal? Because you started with like, when you start with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, they just kind of go, okay, yeah, the rest of this is probably just Trans-Siberian Orchestra as long as it's like, modern power metal Christmas songs. That's really all. The whole playlist is literally just that. That's
the one acceptable context for American normies to listen to power metal.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got them all to listen to fucking like 15 minutes of Orion's Reign, like 10 minutes of Theocracy.
It's like, you will listen to Dan Vosk and Miniva.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, I think the new one didn't have Miniva. I can't remember, but yeah, that's on at least Jingle Bells, which is both of them. But yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, they Tommy did such a great Christmas album. I like it.
Indeed. I think the last album I have as like big things I'm looking forward to this year, and I know you are as well. Not power metal, but fuck it, it's my show. I'll put whatever I want on it. Aephanemer, if I said their name wrong. Mellow Death from France, and just like legit one of my favorite albums of the last like 10 years is their Procopton most recent album. So I'm super stoked for whatever they come up with next.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped on them too. Procopton got a bit of place, except for the Sovereign, which if you take the Sovereign out, I listened to the album, we'll say quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. However, if you just ignore the album and listen to the Sovereign, I listened to that way too much. It was actually competing with Slurp a Derp for a moment for me.
Hold on.
Yeah, dude, I listened to that song so much. The whole album's good, but I obsessed on that song for a while. So when someone's like, hey, by the way, they're releasing a new album, I'm like, yes, give me that. I'm so excited now. I was like, oh man, 2020's over, and now you have potentially more Aephanemer. I don't know, but oh my god, give me that shit. It was such a great album too, and I thought that them adding the was instrumental stuff at the end was very interesting too. I don't think it's better, but it was an interesting listen to.
I always like it when bands with predominantly harsh vocals include instrumental stuff, because I think it's easier to recommend to less metal people that way. Like I had a friend of mine who will dip his toe into metal, but he doesn't really like harsh vocals. I had him listen to the instrumental Procopton, and he was like, "Well, this is actually pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, right."
Of course, yeah. We've got some people who are afraid of harshes that you can introduce them that way. So
we're on a power metal show, so you're gonna have some of that somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I do actually remember there was some comments and like it was like a power metal Discord or Facebook group where some people were complaining about Camelot's The Black Halo because there was too much harshes on it.
What?
All right, are you ready? Do you remember March of Mephisto has Shagreth on it, and then there's a little bit of smaller bits of growliness. Yeah, you see the fact that you have to do that much thinking, and then they're like, "Yeah, get those harshes out of there. Just give me like." I'm like, "Holy shit! If this is your level of too much harshes, I'm like, that is like the lowest level of like it's like oh yeah,
or like that, or like Inhuman Rampage is like, oh, that might be too much harshes.
If you have to think, oh yeah, there were harshes on it, and it's to someone else that's too much harshes. I feel like those are two very opposite things where you have to like really dig to remember, oh yeah, there are some harshes. Like the harshes on that were like, what, two half phrases during the chorus, and then some other crap later in this like album. Like I think in total there were like 14 seconds of harshes in an hour album. I might be understating it, but all I'm thinking is if these people exist, that's weird. But at least there's an instrumental version of Procopton for them. Yeah.
So if you're mostly a power metal person because you don't really like harshes, you know, if you're looking for a way to expand and dip your toe, Aephanemer, I think, has such strong melodic songwriting that
very much
you can at least appreciate that. Yeah. All right, and we've been going for, my recording says 2 hours. We're probably gonna cut some stuff out of here.
Cool.
But thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, this is really fun. I always like talking about metal, and I think Stephanie's like glad that I have some other outlet for that, because I'm pretty sure I've like completely destroyed her ability to listen to it. So having you as a victim is very nice.
No, I've been wanting to just talk about all this shit. Like, you know, we've got 6 months worth of albums to go through here, which I think for all things considered, we did a pretty good job there. I'm feeling good about 2021, fully vaxxed, you know, nice and powerful there. Shows are coming back. Blind Guardian's coming back. Fucking Edu Falaschi's coming back. Helloween's coming back. Everything is just, you know, nature is healing. Life is returning to the metal world, and it feels good.
It does. It feels amazing. I'm so happy. 2021 is going to be amazing. It's amazing now, and it's going to continue to be.
Indeed. So thank you for joining us today, Alice. Everyone, please check out Rage Badger Gaming if you're into Gloomhaven and Frosthaven and all the havens that you could look for. And Rage Badger Music if you like shitposts and getting pissed off about things.
Yeah, thank you.
Any final words you'd like to share with our audience, whoever they might be?
I'm very happy for the second half of the year. I'm excited, and all I can say is, Blind Guardian, please don't let me down, and hail Odin, I guess.
Hail Odin and stay powerful.
Stay powerful.